Well, Aries Spears recently made an appearance on Bill Bellamy's Top Billin' podcast, where the two discussed his beginnings in comedy, behind-the-scenes stories on some of his favorite projects, and what he's been up to lately. Now, during their conversation, Aries spoke on not having a mentor in his career despite his early start at the age of 14. Aries would say that everything he learned in this business, he learned by himself. The lack of mentorship he received early on could explain why he's been labeled as a controversial figure. Let's take a look at this clip.
Your attitude is a blessing.
My Charles Barkley, no giving a fuck demeanor.
Correct. You stand on a lot of things that you're very passionate about.
I do.
Why do you think it gets misconstrued or it goes left?
I think that before that, I always say this game is, Hollywood is like high school, man.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people go off of what they hear rather than do self-investigation. So the seed has already been planted for you to feel a certain way about me without meeting me. There have been a lot of things that I have said that I wish I could take back.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because I don't believe in what I said. Knowing how this game is, should have said it. Because no matter what you do or what you say,
you're going to get criticized anyway.
You're going to get criticized and there's consequences and repercussions. But I've always believed in what I said. Just probably shouldn't have said it, And it's
this wasn't the right place.
And like
for
I
it.
said, my mouth is my biggest attribute, but it's also my biggest detriment.
So as a young guy, coming to the shows with your mom being your manager and taking care of you and making sure you good, branching your wings and jumping in this Hollywood game, what was that like for a young comedian?
Here's the part that I think where it would have been better for me had it not happened that way. Most comedy dudes, they come up with a clique. A lot of them dudes, and especially in the trenches of the struggle, live together, rode in the same car.
Yeah.
I Nas this shit. I was a loner. I didn't have nobody to pull my coattail and go, hey, young man, come here.
Right.
No, don't do that. Everything I learned by my motherfucking self.
Pierre, I'm coming to you first. What's your reaction after hearing from Aries Spears on why, all the backlash that he's received?
I'm in the business. I call bullshit when I see bullshit or hear bullshit. He was an arrogant motherfucker. That's what he was. Arrogant. All that. I ain't have no old homie to help me out, or old dude. When old cats talked to him, he didn't want to hear it. So he has to take accountability of that. I was around. I saw it. Aries, I did. I've heard it. Okay? So it's not that everyone, he didn't have no one to help him out. When people wanted to help him out, I said, brother, chill, young man. Nigga, fuck you. I'm the next Eddie Murphy. Nigga, fuck out of here. I'm doing my way. Well, okay, nigga, then you're going to do it your way. That's what happened. In fact, I like Aries. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and him think a lot alike. So I know where he comes from. I just have a different personality behind closed doors. I'm more humble and caring than he was. I'm just being real with it. He can say what he wants to on another podcast if he wants to. It is what it is. In fact, I asked him, come on, we tried to get him on this thing and took care of stuff, and he flaked at the last minute. I tried to bring him on my show. He gave me stories. I'm available, and all of a sudden he wasn't available. But nothing happened. I'm not mad at him for doing the Bill Bellamy show. I'm happy he's coming out and expressing himself. But what I will call is bullshit. If he came on my show, I'm not going to get away, sit there and just let him say what he wants to. I'm going to call it like it is. And I think that might be one of the reasons why he didn't want to come on my show, because not here to get him wrong, but because I feel him. I understand where he's coming from. But I'm also going to be like, I ain't going to sit there and just be like, I'm like, no, nigga, I was there. I heard this and I heard that. Let's be real with it. And so that's how I feel about him. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think he's a talented individual, but he fucked his own self over by his personality and his arrogance coming up.
I love the honesty. Yamanika, let me bring you in. Same thing after, hearing this. What's your reaction to it?
I don't know him, Aries Spears, personally. Obviously, I've had commentary about him when he was opening his mouth about Lizzo. Part of me does feel him because people have a perspective of me that's different than if they ever meet me, right? Where him and I differ is when it comes down to work. I try to make sure in business that I am doing what I need to do and that I'm keeping and communicating well with people, especially if I have disagreements or things like that, that communication is the key. Aries seems very hurt. I'll say this, and I don't know, Pierre may not agree or may, sometimes comics don't want this to be put out. A lot of comedians got into this business. We were on the outcast at somewhere, right? We weren't in the mix to have the sort of same thinking of the populace. So you have a lot of comics who get into this business and we are outsiders, or we are people who have had to defend against things. So that automatically, that defense puts up a block. And when you have that kind of block and you're always on guard for attack, a lot of times that makes you have a rough or exterior. So I think a lot of his commentary and his work comes from defensiveness instead of expressiveness. But in terms of nobody helping him when he was young, I started stand up at 16. Was it that nobody was helping him, or was it that he was not getting the help? Because I know at 16, it was a certain way that I felt about myself, just being young and dumb. And as I got older, I was more receptive to people giving me advice, to people giving me help, to people telling me certain things. I mean, you can't trust everybody, but sometimes when people see the best in you and they want to get that out of you, you have to be willing to go to people and say, hey, I'd like advice. I'd like your help. It's a breakdown across the